Now it is.
Hello, Fight Insight fans, listeners, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Fight Insight.
A bonus episode.
Bonus episode with your boy Princey D and Timmy B.
I have to change my name because
Timmy.
it doesn't necessarily say Timmy B, but I'll go with it for now.
You have to go, yeah. I think the Timmy B it's nice. It's a nice little. There's a nice ring to it. Don't you like it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
I mean, it for myself. Come on, man, Tim, help me out over here. Like, we gotta go back to the good old days where people used to listen to the radio and listen to these radio hosts, and they've all got these really cool names. Give me one, man. There's got to be one. They got Mocha. That's cool.
Roz.
They've got, but way back, you remember
Marilyn Dennis.
And then they had Flow 93.5, 92.5. They used to have Sugar. There you go. That's one guy, one person too. Yeah, that's it. Princey D, Timmy B. Come on, man. We sound like a 90s R&B group, baby.
It's good,
right?
We're doing this bonus podcast, Prince. We record about a week in advance, so normally we're not too timely with stuff. Mm-hmm. But based on what happened yesterday, Saturday, we're filming this Sunday night. Based on what happened yesterday, you and I thought we have to film something to talk about all the stuff that went on in the top 3 fights last night, right?
Gosh, nuts, like that.
Insanity.
Like, I looked at it, I was just like, what's happened? I've never actually, tell you the truth, I can't even remember when that last happened. Can you?
Well, when that one thing happened,
never. I don't want to spoil it yet before everyone just knows what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
But to see that live, you're like, yo, what's happening here? You stood there, like, oh my gosh, like, unbelievable. I remember I got all these texts from my IG from my boys, like, yo, did you just see that? Like, is this for real? Like, is this really going to happen? Right?
So, yeah, man. I was chatting with a bunch of people while it was happening too. But before we get into the fights, and we'll talk about the 3 main fights, what were you doing today, Prince?
Okay. I'm glad you asked, Timmy. So today I actually shot a video for my boy PF Vegan. Shout outs to you. He's promoting his vegan bars. I went and I shot a video with him. It's a really cool video. It was actually something that me and him were thinking about, and there's I don't want to spoil it because it really, I came out of my comfort zone, and
I don't think so. I highly doubt that.
Yeah, no, actually, not
your comfort zone encompasses like a lot.
That's true. I have no shame. So everyone knows that, right? So, but yeah, I went and shot a video, man. What did you do today?
So actually, this is at nighttime on Sunday. So I'm ending my day with a podcast. I began my day with a podcast. Mm-hmm. I filmed one for Heroes World podcast. So we'll put the links up to both the PF Vegan and Heroes World down in our YouTube. But it's where I started podcasting as a guest. It's a local comic book shop out in Markham, Ontario at Warden and Highway 7, Heroes World. Look them up. They've got a ton of awesome stuff. But I filmed the podcast there. And shout out to John Ho. He's the guy that helped us figure out all of our stuff to create our podcast. So thanks, John, for everything that you've done. And we will be doing a crossover podcast with them. I just told Prince before we started filming this. But we'll do a crossover where we're going to do like half of the podcast on ours and half of it on theirs, and we'll kind of incorporate their kind of stuff and our kind of stuff together, and we'll do that soon.
Hey, listen, and I can see the shirt. You got the shirt on.
Yeah. This was
flash the shirt a little bit.
Yeah, so this was they've been in business. This is their 20th year. So
wow.
Today I'm wearing their 15th anniversary shirt, and this shirt has seen a lot of washes, so it's getting pretty crumpled. And hopefully they create a 20th anniversary shirt this year.
Hey, listen, you know what? Later on, when after the number of years, we're gonna have one of those shirts too. Fight inside.
Yeah.
We busting out over here and grandkids in the back, like, oh, and then we're gonna just pass it on. It's gonna be generation upon generation, and they're gonna be using the same equipment that we've been using.
That's right. I'll be yelling at kids to get off my lawn.
I'm
creating a podcast. So yeah.
And the kids will be like, what's a podcast? You're still using that
thing? Prince, I do have to ask you something, and I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but what were you doing Saturday night? And before you answer, I'm going to show you a photo of what I think you were doing on Saturday night. So if you're, if you are on Spotify, iTunes, listening to the podcast, come on YouTube and look at this photo, because tell me that this is not Prince. Is this guy not Prince?
Oh my gosh.
This guy was fighting Prince, and okay, I took a bunch of photos. I could never get a really good one, but this guy looks just like you, man.
Tim, and I love you, bro. Like, that's sick, man. How did you even get that angle? How did everyone know? Like, aside from working as a nurse, I actually work part-time as a UFC fighter as well. I managed to digitally remove all the tattoos that I have. In there, just so everyone knows I'm incognito and actually in disguise. But yes, actually, thanks a lot for asking, Tim. So I was actually on a Saturday night. I was actually in the UFC 259 card.
Nice. And you won. You won by decision, I believe, that fight. Split decision, but yeah, good for you.
I did, and thanks a lot, Tim, for shouting that out. And that's actually something very, very important for me. So, usually I leave with a loss, and I usually leave with with an L, and usually get knocked out first or second round. But luckily, I came out with a W. And
sometimes you pull it off, Prince. That's how you do it.
Listen, Timmy, I'm telling you, you don't know what a dozen of Timmy's donuts and coffee will get you. A belt.
Hey, sometimes.
All
right, so my first fight that we're going to talk about, Prince, and I've just simply titled it here.
I can't believe this guy. Tim, that was just funny. Oh my gosh.
So so we're talking the first. What we'll do, I think in order, we're going to talk about it backwards from main event down, because that's kind of how the excitement goes, at least for me. This fight.
Yeah.
Again, terrible photo, but that's my skills. But this is Jan.
Yep.
Retaining his title.
Yep.
Against Adesanya.
Yeah.
The guy that everybody thought was going to do it.
Yep.
What did you think of this fight, Prince?
Man, Tim, I was so disappointed. Literally when I saw, the worst thing is that I saw bits and pieces of it, and then until the very end that I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, Iggy lost. I can't believe it. Everybody had their money on Iggy.
Yeah, and a lot of money. And listen, the Instagram, listen, on your predictions, on our predictions on the IG as well. We had Iggy as well. I had Iggy as well. It was going to be a sure bet. He's on a 20-0 record as well. He's on a win streak. He's been taking everybody out, knocking everyone out, especially that performance against Costa. Crazy. I thought for sure this guy would take it, but yeah, I was so shocked. What do you think, Tim? What did you think about the whole fight? From what I saw while I wasn't napping, and while I was chatting. I normally chat with a few people. Shout out to Rob. That we chat with during the fights, whatever. Man, it was such a boring fight. I apologize for anybody that liked it, but this one, it just did not deliver.
Yeah.
Especially based on the two fights right before it. Kind of hyped up.
Yeah.
I will say at the end of it, I watched this crazy video. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a clip where Adesanya and Jan, they're waiting for the decision to be read.
Did you see this? No, I didn't.
And the camera catches what they're saying to one another. And Adesanya is there and looks fresh as a daisy. There's an old man term for you. So fresh as a daisy, Adesanya sitting there, and he's chatting back and forth with Jan. And Jan is sitting there he's beat, he has, and then to me, I'm he left it all in the ring. He went for it, defended that title, defended his weight class, defended his division from this, under a lower weight guy coming up undefeated. He laid it all out there, so good for him. Adesanya seemed to have like a lot of energy after. But anyways, the funny thing in that video is they're talking back and forth, and because maybe of a little bit of the language barrier, Adesanya is saying like, "Oh, you got you did really well in passing my guard. I had like a butter guard. It was too safe." Like I think he's saying like butter, like soft like butter. Jan hears him say something like bodyguard, and Jan goes, "Yeah, I'll be your bodyguard. How much do you pay?" And then Adesanya's like, "What? No, I said like guard." But that was so funny. Like Jan is so tired, but he hears bodyguard. He's like, "Okay, how much do you pay?" So I thought that was pretty funny. But overall, that fight did not deliver. So
yeah, you know what? Honestly, I thought it was going to be Rock'em Sock'em. I thought someone was going to get dropped. And like even, I mean, the background story is I just found this out like a couple of days ago. But like Jan, I heard that he was actually going to get cut from the UFC. Like he was about he was about to get cut. He was on a losing streak. They thought that there's no point of keeping him on the roster, and it was I think his fiance or wife that's now that actually told him like, "Hey, you know what? Give him a shot. He's a big star in Poland, and let's." Just let him be in that card. And he did, and he ended up being a champion. And so, but again, like, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, sometimes you can't stay on top forever, right? And I man, I just I really I love Iggy, man. Iggy's just
for sure. The guy was the next big thing.
Such a cool guy, and and he's a big anime guy.
Yeah.
Right? A big dancer. And he's just cool overall, right? And
he's like if you dedicated yourself, Prince, to the world of MMA. If you weren't an avid Muay Thai fighter, an avid personal trainer, an avid bodybuilder, like you're an avid a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you focused and you just wanted to be an avid MMA, I could see you as an Adesanya type, coming to the ring, dancing.
Like, listen, I would be like, I don't know if you remember Camacho Macho.
Yeah.
Listen, I would I would dance or even Prince Hamed. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh man, I love that guy. Holy
You're right. Yeah, I would be in here. I would be dancing in the ring for about 3 hours. The other fighter would be like, "Can we get on with it?" They would be so out of focus and so out of their game that
would be your entrance. 3 hours.
3 hours of a full, dance routine. They'd be like, "Prince, like, can you get into the ring?" I'd be like, "No, this is how I get into someone's man. It's not about the talking. It's all about the dancing."
Nice.
And maybe I'd have like a whole gospel choir come through as well. It'd be just like a whole event.
Like a concert before the fight.
That's it. And later on, they're just like, and then people would just be leaving the stadium just like, unbelievable, man. Like we played millions and millions of dollars just to get in here, and
as the people are leaving the stadium super satisfied, they'd hear in the background, "Let's get ready to rumble." They'd be like, "Oh, the fight!" Fight.
You're like, "Yo, what's going on, man? I thought we just came out of a Cher concert."
They're already done.
That's it. And they'd be like, "Yo, listen, like, Prince, I thought that was the whole thing." I'm like, "No, you guys stayed for the fight, but you came for the dance."
That's right. Now, I know your dancing would be killing it, which transitions well. Super segue here to our next one, and I've titled this: "We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder." I mean, Mama Lion.
My gosh.
It's a slaughter.
Amanda, I'm telling you right now, there's like, I don't know who else. We're going to have to throw like 8 fighters in one ring to stop this person, this champ.
How do I do this? There we go.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one.
I mean, holy moly, Prince. Speechless. Like, I feel like, and I commented a little bit on some people's Instagram when they were posting here. Can you shift your head over a little bit?
Sorry, there.
I was commenting on a few people's Instagram. Like, does she get 2 tap outs for that? Like, she was triangling she had a triangle choke around the neck.
Yeah.
And then she was breaking the arm.
Yeah.
And this was after possibly a TKO already.
Yep.
Like, she either beat Anderson twice or 3 times last night in one fight.
You know what I call it. You heard it. You heard it here from Fight Insight podcast. It was a TKO submission. Taco sub. Taco sub. That's what it was. The first ever taco sub. Someone got TKO'd / submitted. Like, what do you even call that submission, Tim? Like, you're an avid jiu-jitsu practitioner. What would you call it?
I would call it something I cannot pull off.
You know what it would be called? It would be called a triangle arm.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, like, did you see when Nunes hit her a couple of times?
Yep.
And then Anderson's standing there, eyes wide open, and she's just like, what the hell is happening? And she stands there for a second and then just eats another like, so bad, man. Holy moly.
So when she clipped her, I think it was either a jab or I think it was a jab or a cross. But she clipped her the second time, but she lost her footing. Did you see that? When she lost her footing,
yeah,
it looked like she was gonna fall right over, and then that's when they dropped into the ground and Amanda just straight submitted her.
You mean when Anderson lost her footing?
When Anderson.
Like, it was like her legs just went stiff.
Yeah,
that was when she was like this, and just like, what the hell is coming for me?
Like this, like
she went. I mean, holy moly! But I mean, cutest baby, man, right?
I know.
Like, we've already talked longer than the fight took. But like, man, her baby is super cute, right? I don't know if that's on purpose, but it's almost got like a little baby mohawk already. Like,
that's it. Yori's got like the whole swag, like the headband and everything, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know what? At the end when she brought out the baby and Anderson went over, said hi, and they're like, they're making the baby noise. I was like, oh man, that was nice. That was a nice gesture, like for them just to be. Yeah, I thought it was so cool. I like that stuff, Tim. I like that horsemanship stuff. I like them respecting each other, getting on knees, and like, they do the bows, they hug it out. Like, I like that stuff, right?
Well, did you see? And I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but did you see at the end when she did bring the baby in? Mm-hmm. Did you see there was a scene where Megan was over talking with Nunes, and they're kind of like hugging, and she's playing with the baby.
That's like, Tim. That was the one I was talking about.
So cute, right? Like, that was awesome. That was good for them. Sorry,
I was like, no, you're right, and that was exactly what I was like pointing at. It was just like, these people are mothers, right? Mothers, fathers. They're making a living, and at the end of the day, it's almost like, okay, we're done our job, and like, hey, you want to meet my family? That's huge.
Yeah,
right? I mean, they're gonna have those rough, tough guys, and MMA. Like, no, we don't need none of that. It's all about hard work, dedication, like more, blah 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 blah. But I guess you've grown out of that phase. Just watching people with that human touch, it's nice because, man, look at what Amanda did, man. She went in there, showed us what her striking ability is.
Mm-hmm. Right? Again, for the umpteenth time at this point,
and then just showed us her jit skills, and I think she's black belt jiu-jitsu, right?
Whatever, she can be whatever belt. Just give her any belt she wants. The thing is, she's destroying these people on the feet to the point where whatever game plan they had is out the window. Whatever jiu-jitsu that her opponents have, it's out the window because they're getting rock'emed.
Yep.
Like, by the time they're hitting the ground. So, I mean, their jiu-jitsu is not going to matter. They're already so compromised, right?
That's it. Let me ask you a question, though. Who do you think would be able to stop this phenom?
Who can stop Nunes?
Who was their answer?
0 people. At this point.
Give me something, Tim. I want you to give me, like, there's somebody from another country who's training with bricks and rocks and punching bags of cement to get
Nunes is punching bags of cement. Nunes is from another country. Nunes, like, nothing. Nobody's beating Nunes for a long time, and if they do, it's going to be very fluky. Like, people did think Anderson was potentially had a shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know the stats. I don't know that if she landed a shot. I don't know that she threw a punch. It was quick. It was quick. And who else? Here's the thing. The next in line against Nunes, I think, is Venezuelan Vixen.
Okay.
What's her name? Oh my goodness, I can't even remember. Venezuelan Vixen, though, is the next one that's calling her out. And really, that I don't see her getting that win. Do you not know who I'm talking about? I gotta figure this out quickly. The girl, she won the Ultimate Fighter. She was on Team Misha Tate.
TUF. Can't. No.
Venezuelan Vixen. I'm typing this up, so this is good podcasting. Juliana Pena. That's who it is.
Oh, okay.
Juliana Pena, right?
Yeah.
She's the next one, right? She's been taking out some people. She had a child, so that's why she was out of UFC for a while, but she's back. She's strong.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But that's going to be a slaughter too.
Yep.
I don't know that there's anyone, Prince. Maybe the person hasn't been born yet or created in a lab genetically yet, but...
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Fight Insight podcast fans, listeners, viewers, there is somebody in some third world country that doesn't have any money for any gloves, that can't afford to be in a gym. It's just literally punching bags of cement, carrying rocks, and is about to come and just tear a hole through this division. Because when you have somebody that's coming out of that, like, there's nothing that's stopping you. You know what I mean? So just when that person comes, remember, we knew who you were. I say, and you're going to come into this podcast. We're going to interview you, and you're going to tell us your training regime, your strength and conditioning regime, and what got you there. And remember, we knew who you were, and we knew you were going to come in and destroy this division.
Whoever you are, we know who you are.
Yes, we know who you are, and we would like for you to come here. And we would like to interview you. And then after that, you go and you kick and you knock out everybody who's, placed upon you.
I don't know, but I'm assuming this unicorn of a woman you're speaking of that's living in a third world country.
Yep.
Punching bags of cement.
Yep.
Probably doesn't have high-speed internet to be able to be on this podcast. But whatever. That's a mere formality.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. I was always thinking that everybody had, access to social media.
No.
But no, so they wouldn't have internet. So they wouldn't.
No, because you know why? Because the woman that you're talking about has no time for social media, Prince.
Jeez.
This woman has to be eating her Wheaties, saying her prayers, doing whatever the things that Hulk Hogan tells you to do. 24/7.
Or Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Like studying the book of Chuck Norris. There's nothing else this woman can do. Prince, there's nobody. Who are we kidding? Even Joe Rogan in the interview at the end was like, you've cleaned out the divisions. They don't even have rankings in 145. There's no point. They just keep feeding Nunes the next girl they can find. Like it's nothing.
But you know what? Let me ask you, Tim, because they said the same thing about Ronda. When Ronda came out, she was arm barring everybody.
Yeah.
There's no one left. Like, who else is this person to fight?
No. But hold on. The difference there was that Ronda had skill and technique that was unparalleled, right? But it was skill and technique. Nunes has skill and technique, but she's got power. She's got speed. She's got viciousness. She's got experience. That's a total package. Like Ronda didn't have the striking, and we all knew that. We knew that, hey, if some woman could be out there and strike with her at range, we knew that was the perceived weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, even Nunes is like throwing leg kicks. Like I don't even think if Dr. Jim came and trained someone on leg kicks, I don't think that's beating Nunes either, because I think Nunes is going to beat you to that kick. She's going to be throwing her crosses and just tagging you.
I feel like in that fight, she just showed her whole arsenal. She's just like, hey, you know what? This is what I have. Hey, I learned this too. And hey, you know what? I also learned this as well. Like, let me just show you this. It's like, you're going around like, showing off your brand new car. Like, look, I just got rims. I just got the car tinted. got a
Yeah.
car wash, like, LED lights. Like, come on, man, look at
And
this.
you know what? While she's showing you her rims on the right side,
Yep.
they're changing them up to better rims on the left. Like, she's advancing so quick, man. By the time she gets around the car, the other car's spray painted a new color. She's like, what? Like, this woman, she's impressive, man. It is no joke.
And on top of that too, so she has a baby now. She's got a kid. Now she's got like a lot more things to fight for, right? And
Yeah.
so, a lot of times when one of the fighters have children, they're like, "Yo, listen, I'm fighting for this kid, and I'm gonna show the people that, this is what I'm fighting for, my family." And the man, and she's look at that. Amanda last night was the most scariest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, wow, that wasn't quick. That was fast. It was like, holy
Yeah.
crap! I remember when it was like the first round in, I was like, literally, Tim, I was like, no, slow, no, slow, no, slow down, no, make it past the second round, and then boom, it was done. It was all over, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I looked at it, and I was like, whoa, Amanda has ground game too. This is nuts. Okay, that was.
And I don't know if like she would get paid. She'd get paid more if she were the main event, but she deserves to be main event every time from now on. Like, she can't be under. Even if I would say at the next event, even if there's a male title fight on the same card, I think you got to put her up there, man. Like, you got to put her above.
No, but listen, Tim, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna start hosting UFC events during the weekdays because they won't even have to worry about it going past midnight because it'll probably end at like 8.
Yeah, they don't even need the full half hour. They'll just be like, look, we're going to air this event from 6 to 6:05.
Yep.
That gives us enough time for the walk-in,
Yep.
the announcement, the fight, and the post-fight interviews.
The fight itself is almost like a minor podcast. It's like, hey guys, hey, 6 o'clock, 6:05, done. There you go. Weekday.
Boom.
It's the weekday UFC event. You know what, UFC guys, if you guys are any of the the head administration organization people watching this right now, you guys should host like midday UFC where the fights are just gonna end early. And people could still, get on their day. Like they've got work the next day, they'll be able
Still
to
do chores around the house.
do chores around the house and be like, "Oh, I've got UFC at 7. It'll probably end at like 7:02, and I can still get my laundry done."
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way it is, man.
All right. The last fight we're going to talk about today, Prince.
Here we go.
The most controversial.
Oh my goodness.
And the Academy Award goes to...
What? Wow.
I'm not saying this, Prince. This is all over the internet. I was watching it online, and again, like I said, chit-chatting with people as we're watching. Everybody is messaging while he's on the ground. And of course, we're talking about Aljamain Sterling getting hit by Petr Yan, the knee to the head. He's down on the ground. Is he milking it? Is he not? What's the opinion here, Princey D?
Okay, listen.
I also don't know where our name tags went. I don't know. I've lost it. But
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Timmy B. Listen. Man, listen. Oh my goodness. So okay, man, it's tough because listen, during the fight, Sterling was on the ground. Both his knees were on the ground, and Yan, when he threw the knee, I don't know if you heard this, but I mean, when he threw the knee, he was actually getting advice from his. Heard about this, right? So Khabib, who overheard them because they were speaking in Russian, overheard the advice from the corner. Him actually asking, "Hey, should I kick this guy?" And the corner saying, "Yeah, go, you should." And he lands a knee, which knocks him over, and which gave him the DQ, right? So, honestly, Tim, like watching that now, and DC and some of the sportscasters there also that saw it. They're like, you know what? It was a good call, disqualification. It was called for. It needed to happen. They needed to make sure that the fighter was safe, and even his presentation, how he got up and how he was wobbly on his feet. it was a good call. They had to call it that way, right? Just to be on the safe side. But yeah. So Timmy B. Okay, now I want to ask you, man, what do you think? And guys, get ready for the truth. Like, Tim, be ruthless, man. I go ahead.
If this guy was, it's so hard to say. Look, you get illegally.
Say it.
No. I'm saying you get illegally knee to the head.
Okay.
Right. So you suffer the damage.
Okay.
If he does get up, he's going to be really compromised, potentially get knocked out, whatever. He was winning on one judge's scorecard up to that point too. They showed the scorecards. Two judges had him 2 rounds to 1. Two judges had him down 2 rounds to 1, and one judge had him winning 2 rounds to 1 up to that point. He takes that knee to the head, which is a 100% illegal blow. I will say that when Jan hears from his corner, "Yeah, hit him," they obviously don't necessarily say knee him in the face. I think what they're saying is hit him. So I mean, you can knee to the body from there. You could do whatever. Now, unfortunately, he knees to the face. It's illegal. So Sterling's on the ground. That's where it becomes questionable whether he knows what's happening or not. It does look a little bit soccer floppish. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it does look like he's flopping around a little bit. But it is what it is. These are the rules of the sport. I know you don't want to win like this. And the photo that I was showing here, when he got declared the winner, and this is where Academy Award, if not, he looks really shocked that he wins that title.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he has no clue because he's kind of like, what the heck? Puts the title on him. He takes it off, throws it down, goes to the back, does an interview. He's upset. I see online people are questioning, well, how did he get knee to the face? And then why was he doing the interview? That's not really the point of this. The point is he gets knee to the face to the point where he's suffered a lot of damage. The ref and the doctor decide to call it off. You never hear Aljo say, like, I cannot fight. He's not saying anything, which again is kind of weird, but whatever. You know, he gets taken to the back and then he's able to do an interview. Sure, like people are doing interviews after they get knocked out all the time. Like that, you can't blame him for that. People also blame him for posting on social media his party photos after.
Gosh, listen, it was you who sent me those photos. I remember, like, for me, honestly, I was like, okay, like, listen, this is what's happened. He probably is going to get checked to the hospital. You know, we'll see when the interview happens. When you sent me those photos, Tim, of them partying it up, them taking totes, and them smiling, yeesh! I'm like, oh man.
Okay, and Prince, you mentioned before that you were a nurse and you do deal with mental health and stuff like that, right? People, you know, your social media presence isn't always an accurate reflection of who you are. It doesn't always, you know, you're always going to post the better things, the nicer things, right?
Yeah.
This guy, you're going into a title fight. You know there's a potential you're going to win. There's going to be parties planned. You're going to have people around you ready to celebrate when you win. He wins in this way, regardless. He's now the champion. He's got to go back somewhere. He's got to go back to his house somewhere. And there's people waiting. And regardless, they're going to celebrate with him. He's not going to vacate the title. He's not going to give it up. This means money for him. This means he goes into the next fight as champion. The rules are the rules. He didn't like pretend to get eye poked and then fall down. Like he got knee to the face on it as a downed opponent. There's no doubt about that. So it's technically correct for him to win it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like you can't blame the guy for partying because then I think this is a real bad show of class because we're talking about respect earlier and we're going to talk about respect in another podcast. But then Peter Yan says something like, "Oh, now you're partying" or whatever. Like you see some tweets that he was saying. I'm like, "Yo, dude, you should just zip it because you threw the illegal knee. Just zip it. Don't say anything about this guy.
Yeah,
like just wait till your rematch and then."
Oh man, yo, Tim, I actually like that. I like that reverse psychology, man. Listen, our debates. I'm worried now because now you're using like terminology and you're using like facts against me. Like That's not right. Like I wasn't expecting that angle. I was hoping for you to stick to your angle that he was like, he was
Oh,
picking it up. He was acting. It was
wait, was I supposed to do that? Was I supposed to take that side?
yeah. So I was expecting you to take that type of angle, but then all of a sudden you're like, well, Prince, well, you're a nurse, and social media doesn't really present everything that people do in the back. Like again, he's as a fighter and winning a champ like there, you have to people are gonna take the nice side of you. They're gonna see you celebrating. That was like uncalled for. That could be considered a disqualification on itself. It was an illegal shot to my morals.
It was a low blow for sure. I apologize.
It was a square kick in my
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our guest that is coming up in our next podcast, which we've already filmed, did say if you're gonna do an illegal shot, do it hard the first time. So taking his advice. Thanks, press. I don't know, man. It was a real tough one. And I feel bad for the dude because, I've heard him on interviews and stuff. I'm talking about Aljo. Super nice guy, man. And you got to think like, you can't plan that, like you can't plan that thing happening and seeing him cry in the ring and stuff like that, knowing that, man, this is such a tainted victory and whatever, like you feel for the guy so bad, man. Dana White was out on some interviews saying, that knee landed hard. Yeah. So there's no question about that. Yeah. Crazy though, man. First time that title has ever changed hands from a disqualification.
Yeah, I've never, honestly, I can't even remember a time when that actually happened, like a disqualification and it actually going, the championship fight.
No, zero. It has happened 0 times.
But like MMA, not MMA, but I mean boxing and other sports as well. I remember where else that happened. I'm pretty sure it happened before. But this one is definitely gonna stick because I mean,
like you can't lose a title in WWF from a DQ. I know that rule.
That's true. That's you remember back in the day when they used to have like Shawn Michaels, the Shawn Michaels, the Razor Ramon,
of course.
That was like the prime of
90s. Yeah, 90s. The easiest way to retain your title is have Sid Vicious come in and knock out your opponent with a chair. I'm still a champ, baby. That's the way you do it.
I remember when we used to watch on pay-per-view, you couldn't make out anything, and you'd see like little because you're like trying squiggly, and you're trying to figure out who's winning, and then by the time somebody wins, you kind of make out who the person is. You're like, oh my gosh, Shawn Michaels, he won with the kick.
Yeah, Sweet Chin Music.
Sweet Chin Music. I knew that. Oh man.
Yeah. Wow. But anyways, Prince, man, that was a crazy night. Yep. Unfortunately, as we're talking about it in reverse order, when you were watching it live, it was super exciting and crazy exciting. And then
I know.
But whatever. What are you gonna do? That's the way it goes. And again, no disrespect, right? The fight was a good fight, and I applaud Jan 100% for doing it. That fight just didn't live up to the craziness of the 2 prior.
Yeah. It was I honestly thought that he was gonna knock him out. I thought he was just ride through him. He was gonna be a champ, and then I was really looking forward for the matchup with him and Jones, right?
I know.
It's been a sick fight, but like how can you expect to climb up now knowing you can't, stop this guy?
Yeah.
Like you can't get through at light heavyweight because right now Jones is fighting at heavyweight, right? And so
it's gonna cause a little bit of a change up in what has to happen now. But we'll see what happens. I mean, at light heavyweight though, I'm excited because now this means pretty much that Glover Teixeira gets his title shot.
Yeah.
And Glover Teixeira, man, he's a cool dude, and if he beats Jan, like that's a Cinderella story for that guy. That guy's been around a long time. He's an older guy. When I say older, I mean he's around my age. But to still be doing it and have that title shot, that's going to be pretty cool for this guy, man, if Glover can get it.
Yeah, like that would be a nice story. And again, Man, I just want to see how Jones does in that class, right? It's going to be interesting. Like, it's going to be a new challenge for him, and we've seen how he's training now. Him like somebody just holding the pads and him just hitting the pads, and him throwing his backspin kicks and his swing kicks and just much power, right? So that's exciting to watch. But yeah, you know what? This UFC 259 was. It's gonna go in the books, and I was so excited because I was like, "Oh my gosh, Jim, this is gonna be something crazy to talk about, right?" So
yeah, insane. But I think we're gonna call it here.
That's it.
Is there anything else that you wanted to end with? Anything that we didn't touch on?
Okay, so you know what? So for next podcast, so as you know, the logo that we have on our right side is something that's temporary, and you will be seeing an unveiling of Fight Insight Podcast, brand new, state of the art, phenomenal, amazing logo coming out.
We're very happy with how this turned out. Now, hold on. To be fair, it's not our next podcast. It's going to be our next. If you're watching these in sequential order, because our next podcast, do you want to tell them who our guest is?
So we're going to have our first ever fighter, our first ever Muay Thai fighter that's coming out of Toronto, coming out of Canada. Press the best. It's going to be an amazing podcast. We've got a lot of things to, talk about, and also some of the things of, some of his journeys coming out of, especially coming out of Ontario, coming out of Canada, just, learning about fighting up here and, his experiences as well. So we're going to go through that, and you guys stay tuned. It's going to be a really interesting podcast.
Yeah, some good stories, man. We were really lucky to have them. And that one drops. Well, you're going to hear this podcast coming out Monday, and then that podcast comes out Tuesday.
That's it.
Because we wanted to put this one out. And then the week following is when we're going to have our debut of our new logo. It's going to be hard for us to hold it back all that time.
Like Tim, I was fighting demons not to just change our logo now, because I'm so, guys.
I know.
It makes me want to cry. Doesn't it make you want to cry?
It does.
Right? So
yeah, it does. It's really nice. I like it. This is now when we're finally going to get our branding on point. I did spend a good 5 minutes on Microsoft Paint making our current logo.
This one
that was just as a placeholder, technically.
But you know what? Looking at this, it's actually kind of grows on you a little bit, because it's
well, we've been looking at it for like a month. That's why. So
yeah, but it's it's simple. There's no high tech. A high tech technology or a high tech art design program that you're using to make it. It's your simple PAINT.
It's line fill, line fill.
That's it.
Done.
Copy and paste.
Yeah.
Copy and paste.
Prince, this was fun. I like that we were able to talk about the fight. We'll do this. I think we're not going to do this all the time, but we'll do this whenever something cool happens. And actually, we spoke for a long time. We spoke for 45 minutes. But yeah, there was a lot to talk about, man. Those 3 fights were pretty crazy, and I hope you guys watched it. I hope you guys had some fun. And if you haven't watched it, go check it out.
You know what? I feel like, Tim, I feel like we're like news reporter. When you get breaking news and you just gotta run into the nearest payphone and be like, breaking news, this happened. So
Godzilla's attacking.
That's it. They call in the Girl Guides, or the
Girl Guides could fight them. Why not? Coast Guard, maybe.
And Air Cadets. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. All right, buddy. I know you've had a long day. I've had a long day. Thanks for doing this, man.
No, listen, Tim. Thank you for, again. You know what? It's always fun. Oh, you know what? Fight Inside Podcast. It doesn't matter. Running on zero sleep. I'm happy to talk about exciting fights with you, buddy. And a lot of great things happen Great things will be happening coming soon. So podcast listeners, viewers, guys, you're in for some treats. This thing it's on its way up. And shout outs to IG. We are currently at Tim, where are we at? How many viewers are we? How many?
I don't know. We're above 300, so that's not bad. So
We
that's
broke
pretty good
300 just before the
this
weekend.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So Tim, you want to
So
guess?
we're happy.
Try and guess.
310. Oh,
You're so close. 313.
ooh, that's not bad. And tell them where they can find us, Prince.
So you can find us at IG at Fight Inside Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Fight Inside Podcast as well. And you can find us in iTunes. And also you can find us in Spotify, okay? Fight Inside Podcast as well. And if you want to get in, if you want to email us, if you want to be part of the show, or just shoot us an email, just, you can email us at fightinsidepod@gmail.com, all right?
That is correct.
Perfect. All right, Tim, thanks again. Have a great night.
All right, man. Have a good one, buddy. Thanks. We'll see you guys soon. Next one drops tomorrow.
Here's what tomorrow.